The first time I saw her, I wasn't sure she was alive or mirage. Floating in the grand throne room of the Empress's ship, she radiated a presence that made the air itself seem to hum. Her skin shimmered with the soft iridescence of liquid crystal, shifting from violet to emerald as the light struck her at different angles. Her eyes, impossibly large and silver like twin moons, seemed to see through the walls, the people, the universe itself. I was only a human diplomat, sent to negotiate trade terms between our worlds, yet the moment I stepped into her presence, every carefully rehearsed phrase I prepared dissolved. My pulse pounded, not from fear, though a part of me feared everything about this alien grandeur, but from something far more unpredictable, awe. She tilted her head slightly, her gaze holding mine with quiet curiosity. "You are human," she said, her voice like water cascading over gemstones, melodic but commanding. "How is it that you do not tremble?" I swallowed, forcing my voice to steady. I suppose some things are worth facing, even if they terrify you." Her lips curved, almost imperceptibly. The court chamber was silent, save for the faint hum of the starship engines, yet it felt as though the entire galaxy had paused to witness the moment, the unlikely meeting. I had never imagined diplomacy would involve standing before an alien monarch whose mere glance could unmake a man's confidence. The Empress, known throughout our solar system as Zithra, ruled her people with a combination of brilliance and ruthlessness that had earned her both fear and admiration. Stories of her cunning had reached Earth decades before my mission, tales of entire fleets bowing to her command, planets trembling under her authority. Yet here she stood, and somehow, she was breathtaking. The negotiation was supposed to be routine, exchange of resources, mutual protection treaties, and cultural understanding. But no amount of interstellar law or trade agreements could prepare me for the intimacy of this encounter. "You may speak freely," Zithra said, her tone softening, almost imperceptibly. Few humans have the courage to meet my eyes without flinching. I nodded, unsure if my courage was genuine or merely desperation. I believe understanding each other is more important than fear. Her eyes narrowed, not in suspicion but in interest. "Do humans often say things like that?" "Not often enough," I replied honestly, surprising even myself. A pause stretched between us, and then, in a gesture so subtle it almost went unnoticed, she leaned forward. Her gaze held mine like gravity pulling at a planet, the whisper that changed everything. Hours passed in discussion, yet I could not tear my eyes from her. Her mind was sharp, dissecting every argument, weighing every word, yet her movements were fluid, graceful, and almost hypnotic. At one point, as she outlined the complexities of intergalactic trade tariffs, I felt an irresistible urge to speak. Not about politics, not about resources, but about her. I leaned closer, lowering my voice so only she could hear. "You are breathtaking." Time seemed to fracture. Her breath caught, and her eyes widened, a blush, alien and iridescent, like liquid starlight, spreading across her cheeks. Even in all my years of studying alien biology, I had never seen Zithra blush. She recoiled slightly, though not from offense, but from something far deeper, an emotion I could not name. You speak freely," she whispered, her voice trembling in a way that mirrored my own heartbeat. "Few dare such candor before me." "I speak only truth," I said, my hand hovering close to hers, though not daring to touch. Her gaze softened, and for a moment, the Empress of 1,000 systems was no longer a ruler, but a being complex and vulnerable in ways that mirrored our humanity. The shadow threat. Our fragile connection was not meant to last in peace. Intelligence reports had warned of a looming threat. A coalition of rogue warlords, seeking to exploit the fragile human-alien relations, had planned a covert strike on Zithra's capital ship. We learned of it only hours before the attack. "Your presence here is dangerous," Zithra said, her hand brushing mine, a spark of energy leaping between us. "This world, I do not wish for you to perish because of proximity to me. Then we face it together," I replied, heart hammering, not entirely sure whether it was courage or foolish infatuation driving me. When the assault came, it was swift and merciless. Explosions rocked the ship, alarms blaring. Yet amidst the chaos, Zithra moved with precision and grace that turned terror into awe. Her command was absolute, her decisions instantaneous. Yet even as she fought to protect her people, her eyes found mine repeatedly, a silent promise that we would survive this together. A moment of humanity. After the attack, the ship drifted among the stars, damage contained but visible. Survivors tended to the wounded, while engineers worked feverishly to restore systems. Amid the ruin, Zithra found me in the observation deck, staring at the galaxy spinning endlessly beyond the viewport. "You stayed," she said softly, as if stating a fact too simple to be questioned. "I stayed because I could not leave," I admitted, "because I wanted to ensure you were safe." Her eyes shimmered with a complexity I could not decode. Most humans would flee in terror. "Not me?" I whispered. "Not now." She stepped closer, the faint blush still lingering, her presence overwhelming yet strangely comforting. "And yet you speak to me as if I am not the Empress of 1,000 systems, as if I am ordinary." "You are extraordinary," I said, voice firm, meeting her gaze. "But you are also someone I can admire, not from a distance, but beside." Her hand brushed my shoulder, a subtle, almost hesitant contact, and I felt a warmth unlike any technology or medicine could produce. The confession. Days passed. We negotiated alliances, rebuilt ships, and navigated political intrigue, but all the while, an unspoken connection grew. Zithra, the powerful, fearsome Empress, began sharing fragments of herself. A memory of a childhood spent among twin suns, a fascination with human music she had never experienced, her fleeting curiosity about simple things like laughter and touch. One evening, as the stars spilled across the sky like molten silver, she called me to the observation deck. "I do not understand these feelings," she admitted, her voice almost breaking. "But when you speak, when you look at me, I feel something unfamiliar yet undeniable." I took a deep breath, the universe itself seeming to pause. "I feel it too," I said, "and I think it is not just admiration or duty. It is something deeper." She hesitated, then reached out, our fingers brushing, and this time the energy was mutual, undeniable, a silent acknowledgement that what had started as diplomacy had transformed into something far greater. "I trust you," she whispered, "even when my own advisors would question me. And I would never betray that trust." I replied, "The shadow returns. Peace, as ever, was temporary." Intelligence revealed the warlords were regrouping for a larger offensive, planning to strike Zithra's homeworld. This time, escape was impossible. We had to act decisively. "I will not allow them to harm my people, or you," Zithra said, determination hardening her features. "Will you fight beside me?" "Always," I said, my voice unwavering. Together, we led a strategic strike against the coalition, blending human ingenuity with Zithra's advanced tactics. The battle raged across multiple planets, ships streaking like meteors, explosions painting the void in hues of fire and light. Yet even amidst chaos, our coordination was flawless, our trust absolute. After the final victory, when the remnants of the coalition surrendered, Zithra turned to me. Her silver eyes glimmered, not with command or calculation, but with something far more vulnerable: gratitude, relief, and perhaps the first flicker of affection beyond duty. "You saved me," she said, almost softly. "No," I replied, voice low. "We saved each other." A universe of possibilities. With the threat eliminated, Zithra invited me to witness a rare ritual among her people: the convergence of stars, where the Empress communes with her home world through light and energy, an event few outsiders ever witness. As the ritual began, she stood beside me, radiant and commanding, yet somehow human in her emotions. The stars seemed to bend around her, and I realized that every story I had heard of her power barely scratched the surface of her being. "You are not afraid?" she asked, voice trembling with curiosity. "No," I said, "not when I am with you." Her gaze softened, and she leaned closer, eyes reflecting the kaleidoscope of stellar light. "You make me feel as though I am more than an empress. You see me as I wish to be seen." I reached for her hand, and this time the touch was not hesitant. "Because you are breathtaking," I whispered once more, though this time the words carried all the weight of truth, admiration, and something far more profound. The blush returned, brighter now, but it was no longer one of surprise. It was acknowledgment, acceptance, perhaps even the first spark of love. In the quiet of the cosmos, among the swirling stars and distant planets, we stood together. An alien empress, radiant and untouchable, and a human who dared to see her as she truly was. And in that moment, the universe itself seemed to lean closer, listening. She smiled then, the first genuine smile I had ever seen on her face, and it illuminated everything. "Then perhaps," she said softly, "the galaxy is not as vast and lonely as I believed." "Perhaps not," I replied, my hand entwined with hers, feeling the hum of life, of connection, of something eternal. As the stars danced around us, I knew that no matter what the galaxy would throw at us next, we would face it together. Because sometimes, even across the void of space, even between species light years apart, the simplest truth remains: courage, trust, and a whisper of admiration can change everything. And sometimes, even an empress can blush.